is me being me, and I'm hard to love, but I got some people who do, so I guess that's what's up. This is me being me, and I'm hard to love, but I got some people who do, so I guess I lost track of who I really was, never really did enough, put some time in with people.
You're listening to Brian Goltz, a.k.a. Taco Destiny. We learn about his early experiences with music, his foray into the visual arts, a new endeavor into screen printing, and how his experiences with the pandemic has been a moment of clarity and creativity in a time of unknowns. I'm Amy, and he's Brent, and this is Lacrosse Local.
My name's Brian Goltz. Rapper name would be Taco Destiny. I'm from La Crosse, Wisconsin. Minnesota blood, though. I grew up here, and really that's how I got into music and creativity and really all of that. Tug was some guys that I worked with in high school at the old Village Quillins when that was a thing. And watching them grow into what they are now, and just a number of other friends' bands and people that pushed me creatively got me to where I'm at now, you know.
So you kind of mentioned kind of the local influences. Who are some of your musical influences?
I mean, a glaringly obvious one that I think people say all the time, Atmosphere. My argument would be that Atmosphere is more of a band, and Slug is the rapper that they think I sound like. I feel complimented by that. Other than that, I think I was largely influenced by More Than Lights, Big Zach, and Cancer. A lot of punk rock. I really didn't listen to rap when I was younger. In my 20s, I worked at Deaf Ear and got really into underground Twin Cities hip-hop. A lot of that influenced my sound. But the stuff that I listen to is largely not hip-hop.
You know, I followed Inside Job Studios. It looks like you're starting to do a little bit more visual art and the posting on Instagram. Is that a relatively new feature, or how did that start?
That's pretty new. I'd say I really got back into painting and making visual art maybe a year ago. I always loved making art as like a kid and, you know, like high school student and even past that. When I was in high school, I was kind of stifled by a teacher that didn't like the things that I was doing, and at one point took my art and would not give it back to me. And that really irked me, and then I didn't make anything for quite a while until like my mid-20s. I was living with Greg Guest Prefontaine, my roommate's cohort. He got me back into making art again. And more recently, like a year ago, Scott Cheek got me back into painting again. And really that's been a huge emotional release and like just something that I enjoy doing. Like a lot of times I just paint just for the hell of painting. No plan in mind, just whatever comes out. That's cool.
So have you found that this experience with COVID to be, in some sense, a benefit to you creatively, or to everyone it's been frightening, going from humorous to just panic? A lot of artists have said that it's actually been a creative time for them. Some others are just said they just want to, you know, forget about this day. How have you found it to be, this experience of being, you know, somewhat secluded and working away at things?
I feel like I've really experienced the full spectrum of that. When it first started, I was so stoked. Like, I was working a job that I could not stand being at. Just having that time to, like, kind of unwind and not need to worry about money and, like, collect the unemployment, which I'm super lucky that all of my paperwork and stuff went through, like, immediately. I didn't miss a beat. I never missed a paycheck. I did way better at squirreling that money away too. I mean, like, I'm not good with money, but really, like, on the artistic end of things, it gave me so much more time to actually do the things that I enjoy doing, because I wasn't coming home from work beat. Oh God, I don't feel like doing anything. And I could work on that stuff as I really pleased, like I could wake up in the morning and make a painting. I could go on Facebook and like live paint while listening to like just an everyday like a Spotify playlist, and people would engage and be like, what are you listening to? And be a playlist full of my homies, and just, well, this is that, this is whatever. And then also it kind of put a spotlight on my artwork and people would buy it, which, I mean, it worked out great at the start, but slowly that kind of stopped. I think the live feed thing was super cool. I think it is still super cool, but now people aren't really like staying home and checking out those live feeds. Before it was, what live feed are you going to check out this weekend? Now it's, what are you doing this weekend? Nobody's staying home watching live feeds anymore.
You've taken some of your past experience working in screen printing, and you've kind of taken that to the next level. Can you tell us about that project?
I basically, long story short, just kind of got tired of the disorganization and stress that comes with not being your own boss. And then found out how easy it is to be disorganized and still stressed out when you become your own boss. Over quarantine, I took the stay-at-home order seriously, took that time off. I didn't go out. The bars were shut down. And I honestly, I didn't drink much at home during that time either. It's something that I spend a lot of money on sometimes. I managed to put away enough money to get a pretty decent starter setup for printing press and that sort of thing that comes with it. Yeah, I ventured out on my own, and during this time, it's probably not the smartest thing that I could have done, but it's worked out well.
I've talked to a lot of musicians and artists, and I feel like there's also been somewhat of a wave of people kind of making drastic decisions in already a drastic environment. Potentially, we're all doing it for better reasons. So what's next for you? Is there anything else you're excited about?
Yeah. I mean, right now, Inside Job is just kind of really I'm focusing hard on screen printing and getting my name out there as somebody that can print shirts for whatever you need, really. That's screen printing in general. It's a super cutthroat industry. I plan on ramping that up. I want to get a bigger press. I've got plans in the works for a space to work out of that's not just my apartment. My business model is set up to encompass pretty much everything that I do to make a living. And whether that's art or music or screen printing, it's all centralized into one thing that I'm doing now. Instead of, I've always been kind of fingers in a lot of pots kind of person. This is a way of me rolling everything that I do into one and just going for it. I'm really happy to be in the lane that I'm in, and I think that shows, and I think it also helps business, just seeing you can be happy doing what you love to do, and I think people respect that.
As you kind of transition into this new style, where can people find out more about you? What's the best place for people to go to follow along?
Instagram at inside.job.studios. On Facebook, I'm Inside Job Studios.
Lacrosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you would like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at Lacrosse Locals. Subscribe to the Lacrosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We thank you for it.